Hi friends, this is Shashwat here. Welcome back to my lockdown diaries. This is my attempt to document my thoughts and experiences as we go through these days. Frankly speaking, I've lost count of these days. Earlier, I used to number all my lockdown diaries, and I used to remember all the days because we were counting towards something. Now since the whole thing has become indeterminate, there's really everything has seemed such mixed up and murky that you tend to get lose count of that thing. So that's about today. There's a lot of news again like yesterday, but some interesting thoughts that came to my mind today. The biggest news has been the crash in the crude oil price markets. So the Brent crude, which was trading to over around $100 before this whole event started, right? It's now trading to below $20. In fact, the prices of Brent crude in the US went negative for some time. The US, the WTI, the Western Texan, crude. What does this indicate? This indicates that there's a glut of oil right now, despite the OPEC countries and everyone trying to curtail, the production of oil. There's a big glut. Largely driven by two economies in the world, China and India, which have been the biggest consumer of oil. With the slowdown and with almost all the economies coming to a halt, they are not consuming crude oil the way they were doing, and that's that, and the other related issues. But look at the irony of things. That is the bigger picture, right? I was just thinking, look at the irony of things. Under normal circumstances, a crash in the crude oil would have been such good news to your ears, right? This would have implied that the petrol prices would come down. They would come down from whatever under 80s. It would we possibly could see the good days again when the petrol prices were hovering at 60-65 kind of a thing, which, to be very honest with you, our Prime Minister Modi will not let that happen, because if there is a fall in the prices, he tends to mop it up with the taxes that he has at his disposal. But still, let's fantasize on the days if those prices were low. We could go for all these long drives, everything, because the prices of petrol is also linked to a lot of other factors in the economy, the transport of goods, all these things. So the vegetables would get cheaper. We could go for all these long distances, and there would be we would be having so much fun. And look at our situation right now. We are sitting right now cooped up in our homes, despite the fact that the prices, the whole market is crashing. We can't do anything about it. The petrol prices, they fall, no use to us. The vegetable prices won't fall anymore because they are no more linked to all these external factors. So look at the irony. The crash in the market also had an impact on the Sensex, of course. So the Sensex has been going up and down, playing like a yo-yo for the past a couple of months, I should say, not months exactly. It was it was going from one zenith to another, and now it's just hitting rock bottom every time. So as someone asked me, because of my background in financial journalism, someone the other day asked me, should we be investing into the market right now? What should be? So the question was exactly which stocks should I be investing in right now? So my simple answer to him and my answer to you would be, the only thing you should be investing is right now in your bank. If you've got cash on hands, hold on to it. The markets right now are in a tizzy. You never know when they will fall. There is no guarantee of what rock bottom they are going to hit. Everything is right now, there's no predictability about anything. Today, past week the markets were again going on a high. Typically the middle class people like us, we have a thing about, we might miss out on the boat, right? If you don't buy, abhi prices kam hai, agar abhi nahi kharida to shayad baad mein badh jayega. This constant fear is what drives us into the market. So hold on to your horses right now. Don't let this thing pass. Agar wo guzar bhi jayega, you won't be making that much amount of money to justify the risk that you will be taking right now. So my simple humble advice to everyone is, hold on to your horses. There's another friend of mine who was telling me the gold rates are going high. So if you've got all those gold coins and all this thing, you could think about liquidating them. So that's the only advice I can give you on the investment front. And while our economy is in doldrums, our ecology is really doing good. And there's this. So my native place happens to be Varanasi, Banaras, and one of the most important aspects of that, one of the oldest cities in the world, is the Ganga River. So the Ganga River has always played a very important role in our life. I remember when we were kids, we used to go there. We, almost every day we'd go in the morning, take a bathe ourselves in the river, come back to home, and we used to stay very close to the river itself. Yeah. So the river, but over the past couple of years, my last visit had been couple of years back, and the last couple of visits, they have been intermittent, but I have seen the thing deteriorating. I remember as a kid when we used to go, we could almost see through the water, and you could see it was not crystal clear, let me be honest, but yet you could step into the water. But I remember the last visit when I had gone to Dasasamit Ghat, the water was so murky that you felt like you couldn't put your foot inside the water. And the government has been conscious. The government launched a very fabulous program called as Namami Gange, and they invested billions of dollars and everything. Even Rajiv Gandhi in the 80s had launched the Clean Ganga kind of a thing. I remember at Dasasamit Ghat, where my house was close to Dasasamit Ghat itself. There used to be this big storage tank with Clean Ganga written over it. I think so. It must be some filtration plant or something. Yeah. So there have been numerous attempts to clean the Ganga, but all of them have more or less failed. In fact, by the time Ganga, when it moves out of Varanasi, it's still a river. But by the time it reaches Kanpur, it is almost like a nala. You could actually, the leather tanneries out there, you could actually walk barefoot across the river in the summer months. Yeah. So the good news that is there is, the thing is the waters have been clean. I was looking at some of the videos coming in, and the water is back again to its pristine glory. In Varanasi itself, the thing is flowing so nicely. It is almost so inviting again. It's for ages. The river has been washing away the sins of so many individuals. Not only our sins, but also our effluents, our industrial waste, our household sewage, or everything. Now with this lockdown, with all this industrial activity stopping, and all these factors contributing, the river is finally breathing. There's a lot of in certain. There was another report that in Bihar or somewhere that river water dolphins were seen again. So these are the interesting thing. I think all the billions of dollars that was spent could not do the thing that curtailing our activity has done. So that is the lesson that we need to learn. We need to start living within our means. We need to start controlling our actions, and that is how the ecology will play a part. And talking about these broader levels, coming down to my local, there's another interesting thing that happened. So in the place I stay, Thane, so there was this the police is getting very active. So what they did today was, all the people who were all the bikers who were breaking this lockdown thing, and they were traveling without any reason or justification, what these police guys were doing, they were taking an aarti of those guys. And there was even a couple of the cops were even singing some bhajan kind of a thing. So their idea was, they were you're going for a war, it's a very brave act that you have done. So they were doing tilak and all. So yeah, so that's interesting. The police has been doing a very a carrot and a stick approach to the lockdown. So at one end you had the aarti taking, or you had that corona hat that you had in Chennai they were wearing, and they were scaring the people. On the other hand, agar ye sab nahi chalega to danda hi kaam aata again. So so from this end to that end of the spectrum, the police. So that's more or less from me. Yesterday there was one review that I got from a very important person, namely my wife, who told me that my session yesterday, lockdown, which according to me was one of the best, broke all records in terms not only of length but also stretching a person's patience. So let me not draw too much on your patience today, and I will conclude my my thing with this thing. I hope to meet you again tomorrow. Till then, stay home, stay safe, and don't forget to wash your hands. I'll see you again. Bye bye.